Well, funnily, I never at any time looked for employment in this country. So I don't know what you want me to share, but I will just give you my background story. The story, I will start from my young age. Even when I was, after my secondary school education, I have passion for teaching. So immediately I finished secondary school education, I just started up teaching. And of course, it was the teaching I was on that I went to school to go and study. But because I was performing very well at that teaching assignment, each time I come back from school, I get back to the private school to teach. So when I went to school, while I was teaching, I decided to obtain qualifications in education because that's the only thing that can make me relevant. Of course, I also have passion for real estate. So while I was teaching, I acquired qualification in teaching. Then I went to school to study estate management too. So, but while I was running this school, in our own days, you can never have a school calendar that will be straightforward. There must be strike. So each time that I strike, I come back, I work for myself, I make some money from the school, I go back to school. And by the way, I lost my father when I was very young, about over 30-something years ago. So I have always believed in working to earn a living. So, and that was how I did. So when I finished school, I was posted for NYSC. And where I was posted was the only place I ever worked. So when I finished my NYSC, they retained me there. So the only secret of my employment over the years is the fact that I have always put in my best and I've always distinguished myself. So it was that way, after they retained me there, I started working there. I built a career in real estate. And after my NYSC, less than 1 year, I was made a branch manager. And that was why I was transferred from Lagos to Abuja. So when I got to Abuja, I worked with the firm. I became professionally qualified. I became associate of the Institution of Estate Surveyors and Valuers. After that, I met all the prerequisites. I became a fellow of the institution, which is equivalent to the senior advocate of Nigeria in the law profession. So I've gotten to the peak of that profession. Then my first love, teaching. I remembered it, and good enough, my wife too had passion for teaching. So as I was practicing my real estate business, we decided to set up a crèche and a preschool, and then that was running on the side, and that's what became this school you are looking at now. Why the real estate part is Ayeye and Co. And that's why I introduced myself as CEO here and CEO there. So it has not, I have always believed that what will give you employment, even where people say there's no employment, is your ability to make use of any opportunity that you have, deliver, be honest, be straightforward, be passionate, be consistent, and that's what happened to me. Well, of course, the first reason for unemployment is that our government has failed us. There is no ease of doing business in Nigeria, and only government cannot employ everybody. In those days when we were growing up, we have lots of companies, factories in Lagos, in Ikeja, people run night shifts, so there were jobs to do. We have factories in Ikorodu where people used to work. Then we were a producing nation, but now we are importing nation. Everything we import to peak. So because of that, power supply is not available, and because there is no power, companies cannot run. You came in here now, there is no power here. Now, we are running on inverter. So if you are not passionate about a country like this, you will not run any business here. And the lower the number of businesses that you find here, the higher the unemployment. So our government failed us. And that's why you hear the Japa syndrome. Some people are bankers here, some people that don't get work, and when they get there, they are doing factory work, they are doing care work in the UK, but they feel that they can earn a living. We have people here who are graduates, but they cannot earn a living. And why? Government on one side. The second part is the people themselves. So many of our graduates are not employable. And that is because of, one, the decadence in our educational system. In the educational system, not everyone should go to university, for crying out loud. But in Nigeria, all parents want their children to go to, all the children have their own capacities. So when a child who is not supposed to be in university goes to university, from primary school, the parents want to bribe the teachers to get award. They want to write jam for the children. They want to write WAEC for them. So eventually, when that child graduates, he will become unemployable because he doesn't have capacity for what you want him to do. That's part of the reason. As I talk to you now, I have over 300 persons under my employment, both here and the other office. And I've interviewed so many graduates. But I got to realize that those graduates are not employed. Some of them, number one is the fact that when they come for interview, what they claim to have read in school, they don't know it. Number two, 80% of Nigerian graduates want to get rich quickly. They want to make the money in one day, so they are not ready to grow. And if you jump up, you will fall down. If you grow up, you will stay up. The only thing that starts from the top is digging of grave. So many of our graduates are not ready to even, they want to get to a job today, and that's why when they come to employment place, they are negotiating money, not value. Anybody that works in any place and you are being paid for the value you are not giving, you are a beggar. So you should be able to offer value so that people, the employer, will don't want you to go because you already have value. But people overseas, people when they want to get job, they even go to places to go and do volunteer. That volunteer means they want to acquire skill and they want to prove to the company that I have value to give you. So many of our graduates are not employable because at a school here we have a lot of pressure from people because so many schools, what they do to advertise their schools is how many children that have A1 in WAEC. That's what parents want. So they don't mind people writing for them. But here at King's Care Universal School, children must deliver based on their capacity. Because we know that not all children will get A parallel. But listen to me, that you have A is not a criteria that you will succeed. Now, in the world, the C are the ones that employ the A. The B work for government. So if people understand this too well, that's why we have polytechnics, we have college of technology, but like all of them have died down. They believe that if you go to polytechnic, you are a second-class citizen. Nobody wants their children to go. That's the cause of all this. So everybody goes to university. Nobody goes to colleges of technology again. Nobody goes to polytechnic. Nobody goes to college of education. Most of the people that are now teaching now, after they go to university, they cannot get job. They become teachers, emergency. Why can't they go and learn how to teach ab initio? It's because we feel that our teaching profession does not have premium. But anywhere you find yourself, you can make a difference. And that's what we tell people. Yes, government failed, but even in the midst of government's failure, you can single yourself out. It might be difficult, but constantly and consistently, you will get there. So why most of our graduates people come for interview here, they don't dress well. Somebody was coming for interview, was wearing bedroom slippers. All this. So how will that person get? Appearance is part of your assessment. People come for interview, they can't speak correct English. How will they get the job? So people that complain that they don't have the job, they don't get the job, they are part of the problem. Government is also part of the problem. Everybody have their own share. But you see them, they will blame government. Government will blame them that they are lazy youth. So everybody is blaming everybody. Everybody is passing the buck. But by and large, I believe that in the midst, I have staff that work for me. I have those who will tell me that they want to go. I will say they don't go. Let us renegotiate because of value. I have the one that will tell me they want to go. I will say, please, I thank God you can go. You can see the difference. So until people discover themselves and they add value wherever they find themselves. And I tell people, when you want to work in a place, give your best. When you give your best, two things will happen to you. You will improve yourself because you are doing your best. And I tell people, when you go to work in places, when you do anything as per employment, anything they give you in that place of employment, they can take it back. If you are given official car, they can take it, official accommodation. But the only thing that belongs to you is the knowledge you acquire. So go and acquire the knowledge. Go with it as I am here. Because I know I've acquired a lot of knowledge in different sectors. Carry me here and put me in Sambisa Forest, I will succeed. Because what will make you succeed is not the environment. It is what is here. The passion for the job. So many of our youth are not succeeding, and because there are too many shortcuts. Yahoo plus, and people do Yahoo and their parents celebrate them. So part of the problem too are the parents. Part of the problem is the society. Our government failed us, I must say it. You know, if you are overseas, people don't want to buy car by all means. But if you buy car in UK, it's a burden because the transport system is working. But here, if you get to a particular level, you don't even buy car, and your children will ask you, Daddy, why didn't you have car? Because they think it's part of what you must have. So when you get opportunity to serve people, you go and steal. Because if you don't do, the people will ask you questions. Society, we are the problem. When people get appointment for government to go and serve, people will tell you, oh, this is our family opportunity. What do we do? So all these things are what constitute the problem. So some really, government has their share, the parents have their own share, the youth of these days, they have their share, society have their share. So generally, even the church have their own share. Where you go to churches, it is the people that are giving the highest offering that they recognize more. So everybody wants to. So that's why in Lagos, sometimes somebody went to go and steal from his boss to go and give as first fruit, and the church accepted it. A person earning salary of 60,000, giving church 10 million. Can't you ask them a question? Can't they be asked questions? So the general decadence is as a result of where we find ourselves. So until all of us, myself, yourself, himself, wake up from our slumber and make Nigeria better, we will not get anywhere. It is there already. I can tell you for free. It's part of, in fact, in secondary school, there is vocational studies. It is there already. But we have policies, but we are not implementing them. So there is a policy somersault. So there is policy on paper, but in practice, it's not working. So many people that are now graduates, that after they finish graduation, after graduation, they cannot get it, they go and learn fashion designing. Why can't they go for school of vocation and fashion designing and spend 5 years there? And then they become experts. But everybody wants to. Some people who are supposed to be comedian, they want to go and read chemistry. So when they come back, what will they do with chemistry? Start up comedian. Sometimes some of them collect 5 million in one day. How many chemists collect that? So one of us, when we were young, when they ask you what you want to be, doctor, lawyer, engineer, that's what we want to be. But there is more to it. In this IT age, I was telling them in my church on Sunday that youth now should be thinking, now everybody is going towards solar. People go and learn how to do installation of solar devices because that's where we are gravitating towards. But people will wait and be complaining. Fuel has gone up. Oh, no, you have to understand. You have to, and that's the reason why you go to school in the first instance, not to go and read mathematics or English, is to be able to think out of the box. So vocational studies should be added, and parents should encourage their children, in addition to any school they want to go now, to have a vocational skill. It will help them. I'm sure. If I ask some of you that are here, what you are doing now is not what you went to read in university. So.